Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to Doing Business. I'm David Kezio Musoke. Rwanda has launched an 18-month extensive tourism marketing program to promote the country in the East African region. The launch of this program comes a few days after Rwanda, together with Kenya and Uganda, rolled out a single tourism visa for regional travelers on the 1st of January this year. In this episode, we examine how both initiatives are likely to affect tourism, currently the nation's largest foreign exchange earner. Tourism is among East Africa's highest revenue earners. The World Tourism Organization estimates that the industry grew by 5% in the first 8 months of 2013. During the State of the Nation address in December last year, President Paul Kagame emphasized the importance of the sector and said it attracted $217 million between January and October 2013. Just last year, the National Geographic Traveler selected the country's Nyungwe Forest as one of the top 20 destinations of 2014 for its authenticity in the world of travel today. French-based Condé Nast Traveler also listed Rwanda as one of its top 10 destinations to watch in 2014, citing the country as Africa's emerging safari hotspot.
It's still hidden, although definitely a treasure, is Nyungwe National Park. Nyungwe National Park has actually received, been recognized several times. Already in 2012, he had a Guild Travelers Award, which are a British Guild Travelers Award that by journalists, basically renowned journalists in a group, and they recognize mainly the Nyungwe Nziza project, which is a project that has developed the park, but also working with the communities and linking biodiversity, communities and tourism. And for this year, it's among the top 10 destinations that has been advised by National Geographic Traveler. And you know, it's definitely a hotspot. It has an amazing lodge, the Nyungwe Forest Lodge, which also in 2012 won the best smallest lodge in the world. You know, it's definitely a place to be. We have the chimps, we have 13 types of primates. It's definitely for those who love primates or just a natural forest. It's actually the biggest Afro-mountain forest of Central and East Africa. So it's really a forest that has been kept since the Ice Age era and has a lot to offer.
In Rwanda, a country known for the famous mountain gorillas, tourism is the foundation for economic development and responsible for job creation and revenue through taxes and contributing to the overall forex earnings. To keep the momentum going, Rwanda's tourism department, in partnership with Solima International, a US-based tourism firm, launched a new tourism marketing program early this year to promote the country's tourism potential throughout 2014. The purpose of this campaign is to take advantage of the broad recognition Rwanda is receiving as a top global destination.
Yeah, the ESC marketing program is a program that we launched end of last year. And the program is basically aimed at increasing intra-regional tourism, really. That means people from East African community, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, coming to discover Rwanda. We know that the most recent study from the World Bank on Africa, for example, showed that there's been an increase of Africans traveling in Africa. And even more people from, you know, given region and neighbors traveling. So basically the program has two objectives. One of them is to increase travelers from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, from the region basically coming into Rwanda. What it basically means is that for people who live in those countries, whether they are nationals or foreign residents of those countries, they are approached and they learn about Rwanda. You're basically told about the products that Rwanda has to offer. Many of them may think of you know, going for long holidays very far, or even they may think of a weekend. It's basically a weekend getaway and say, you know, you can actually come to Rwanda, which is next door, but there's so much that Rwanda can offer. So it's really increasing the visibility towards those who already live in East Africa, so it's relatively easy for them to come to Rwanda. The second objective of the program is that beyond the travelers that are coming to Rwanda. This is beyond our region, beyond East Africa. We actually have people already coming, for example, to Kenya or Uganda. So what we're telling them is you can actually add a destination. But what we've seen is that many of them only know the mountain gorillas. They think that Rwanda only offers the mountain gorillas. So the campaign is actually beyond the gorillas, to basically tell them you can stay in Rwanda for more than just a day or two to visit the mountain gorillas, and you can have 5 days in the country. So that program also targets that, increasing the length of stay in Rwanda.
The rollout of the single tourism visa is one of the milestones that are expected to expedite integration of the East African community. The holder of the single tourist visa will be able to move around Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda without seeking any other travel document. This is expected to increase the level of tourist movement.
It should have come yesterday. It should have come like yesterday. Why? Because in museums we have already, now 2 years on, members from East Africa are paying. We don't use the word pay so much because it's not a business, but at least the admission fee is 1,000. Whether you're Rwandan, whether you are from East Africa or from the economic community of the Great Lakes, that is Congo and Burundi as well, you pay 1,000. So we have already, while us, the international other visitors, they pay 6,000. So we have already integrated these. Having that single tourism visa coming in, that will boost our visitor number, will boost our revenue amounts. Basically, revenues will increase.
So the visa is $100, $100, which is different from $130, which is what it was. Basically, Rwanda was charging $30, Uganda and Kenya were charging $50 each. Now you are able to pay at once $100. You can get it from any of the foreign offices of Uganda, Kenya, or Rwanda. In Rwanda, you can also get it online because we have the visa online. So you pay it once, and then what happens is between the countries, the country that's issuing the visa keeps $40, and then the other two get 30 each. So there's a mechanism, there are some understandings that we've had, some MOUs, memorandum understandings that were signed between the countries, but from the client's perspective, it's very easy. He just pays $100 and then he has that visa. One thing that's also good about the visa is a multiple entry.
I see it as an advantage because in most of the cases when you look at the statistics of the visitors who come to Rwanda and tourists who come to Rwanda particularly, most of them have covered some other areas in Uganda, in Kenya, Masai Mara or Kilimanjaro and other safari areas that they wanted to see, and then they end up by coming to Rwanda to see the gorillas, to see Nyungwe Forest, to see the memorials. And I believe the single tourist visa will be an advantage mainly to Rwanda, because if you look at Kenya, for example, they have a very advanced tourism than Rwanda. And if their visa is allowing them to go across East Africa with no any other requirement, I believe this will be attracting more numbers to Rwanda and particularly to this memorial.
Rwanda printed the first batch of visa stickers to be used in these countries until March. Thereafter, Kenya will follow, and then Uganda. After the rotational period, each country will be able to print its own.
We definitely believe that there will be an increase because, as I said, we know that people are already marketing us as a region, but it's quite difficult in the middle of a travel to wait basically to get a visa for another country. So we're very confident and that we will definitely boost the arrivals. If I take the example of just Rwanda, we have the type of visitors that we have are the high-end type of visitors. And when we look at how much they contribute, only 10% of relatively 10% of our visitors are leisure. Most of the others are really business, visiting friends, transit, and they contribute 40% of the revenues that we make. Now, Kenya has about 70% of their travelers that are leisure. Even if we just got few of those extending to Rwanda, if 10% can contribute to 40%. Even if we double that, you can imagine how much it would be for our revenues. So I really think that that's just mere calculation that would definitely make a difference. But also from a cost perspective, the fact that now we are able to pull the resources together as the three countries when we go and market, we are able to reduce, so to speak, the resources. I mean, bringing them together, and the impact will be larger if we can, pull our resources together, be on one stand. We're able to go to certain regions that maybe independently each country wouldn't have gone on their own.
A couple of weeks have passed since the rollout of the single tourism visa, and tour operators and hoteliers are looking forward to the benefits. Tourism sites will cash in from the revenue collected, and this is mainly because they are now getting clients collectively, contrary to the previous bureaucratic requirements. Time for a short break. When we come back, we visit two sites in Kigali city and the newly unveiled Musanze Caves in the northern part of Rwanda to examine the prospects of the tourism visa. We also speak to one enthusiastic hotelier about how the industry is readying itself for the new changes. Welcome back to Doing Business in Rwanda. The country's major tourist attractions are not only the mountain gorillas, but also the Akagera and the Nyungwe National Park, which is the home to the only regional canopy. While there are a number of other tourist attractions that include boat rides on Lake Kivu, birdwatching, and the Congo-Nile Trail, the country recently added another tourism destination, the Musanze Caves. These caves were unveiled to the general public and opened for tourist visits in December last year and have already attracted hundreds of visitors. The caves offer in-depth understanding of geological history owing to their location in the volcanic region of Rwanda, where different lava flow layers dating 65 million years ago created the Albertine Rift Valley. The caves are 2 kilometers long below the ground.
Musanze Caves from the eruption of the volcanoes, and this happened a long time ago. As you know, in this area we have volcanoes. We have already 5 of them. So then in less than 6,000 years ago, so there happened the eruption of this volcano. So then the lavas, when they were covering the soil, there's some places where there's some kind of holes. So this is how kind of this kind of caves. And normally, as we recognize different kind of caves in the world, so our cave is recognized as a lava tube because of that that way it has been formed. So this time we have already 2 caves which are open to visit. One of is called the Kinigi Caves, and the one is Musanze Caves. These caves were used for main purposes because long time ago during our kingdoms here, so it was, time the kings were fighting for territories. So this was normally the area for the warriors. So that's a place where they could hide easily so that the other position could find where they were. So this was a good place for hiding, which means the warrior that could get in this place before the other ones, so that was a good chance to win even the war. Another thing that was these caves were used in that time by the local people around here is that in that time we could find different area where there was water in here. And then you remember in that time it was a bit difficult to find the water, so then people were coming here, especially in a dry season, just for getting water.
Caves is our newest product as of 2013. That's the latest product that we launched. It's part of our program to diversify what we have in Rwanda. I think I mentioned the fact that many people know us for a single product mainly, although we've had many other products on the market. And caves is quite unique. We know, for example, that in our region, while other countries have caves, very few have actually looked at it as a tourism product, which we think, in our case, we being able to launch it, it's of course a natural caves, due to the volcanoes eruption. So there's a geographical, so to speak, a story about how the caves are formed, but also have they been used in history by the kings and also as hideouts during different wars, even dating back from the king's times. And it's also very close to that area, to Musanze, where the mountain gorillas are. So that means that people are able to do more activities. And because it's also very close to communities, it's something that communities now may have not noticed as an opportunity to actually, as a revenue opportunity, which they are seeing now. And it's something that they've lived with all their lives without necessarily seeing it as a way of making money for the region or where they live or for their communities. So it's a product that we're very happy about because it's, apart from being our newest product, but we also think that it shows a different side that is more adventurous and also will allow people to stay more time into that region after they've done the mountain gorillas or instead of doing the mountain gorillas. Because you can also have families going there. So it's another product, a good add-on opportunity for anybody, for people outside, for people from the region, and also the locals.
While the single tourism visa is designed to benefit most tourists visiting the region, others who stand to benefit include scholars and researchers visiting the educational sites such as the Kigali Genocide Memorial Center and the Kant Museum of Natural History.
The Genocide Memorial is one of the genocide memorials that we have here in Rwanda. It doesn't have any big difference from others, aside it's big and is developed in a modern way that helps everyone who comes to see this memorial in learning about the genocide, and also helps for the survivors to bury the victims because it's a memorial with a museum and with a burial place. Our purpose is much more educational. But of course the memorial has a tourism aspect because among thousands of visitors who come to Rwanda or even who come to East Africa have on their agenda to visit this memorial center, and tour companies locally are offering in their packages the memorial center as one of the spots the visitors will see.
In Southern Province we have 3 museums. In Kigali here, we have the Natural History Museum, otherwise known as Dr. Richard Kant. Dr. Richard Kant built this house, 1907, where we are seated, which turned to be a museum, was in 2007, 2006. Basically, the museums are very new. We talk about culture in Africa, but we don't visit our culture. It's an opportunity, the museums, the National Museums of Rwanda, we have to spearhead this initiative and make sure Rwanda becomes a destination for culture. And so here, Dr. Richard Kant, as we are seated here, you see this house was for Germans. And if you move around, you'll see the First World War object. One is the steel wheels, famous. One weighs 250 kilograms. It's been given to us by the ambassador, the German ambassador. Basically, it should have been showcased a long time ago, but nobody demanded it. Nobody had this idea until the leadership today in Rwanda says that we should have this as a museum. We should regenerate revenues. We should help the EDPRS. People get jobs because of these animals you're seeing. People get jobs because of the story of the First World War. And then Rwanda is not only known by the genocide, but rather by its strength in 1914, 1916, the time of First World War. This museum is known for the important object of the ship that was sputtered in the Lake Kivu, which I'm looking for support to get that ship out. That will be a history. That will be something for the First World War. Now the museums are on the website. If you see on the website map for the First World War map in the world, we are there because of that story. And so really culture, histories must be visited. Histories can create revenues. Histories can create jobs. Histories can do so many wonders. Amusement.
Between January and October 2013, Rwanda received over 714 visitors and attracted $217 million into the economy, marking a 4% increase over 2012. The launch of the single tourist visa presents the hospitality industry with a great opportunity to expand and enhance service delivery.
The Rwanda Hospitality Association focuses mainly on the hotels, bars, restaurants, guest houses, cafe areas, entertainment places. That domain of mainly it's about accommodation, it's about feeding, it's about leisure. The hospitality industry in that context, in that specific context, I would say Rwanda has been picking an interesting pace, picking steadily, having been built largely in the post genocide period. Like in the last say 10 years, we have seen an increase of accommodation. Start with accommodation. We have seen an increase in accommodation, say from the traditional about 6-7 hotels in the country to about 200 plus. And these are spread across the country, with of course many of them in Kigali, but out there also in the countryside, we have hotels in places like Karongi, commonly known as Chibuye. I think you remember in the old past there used to be one simple hotel, not accommodating more than I think 15 people. But today, Chibuye is another place of leisure. It's a destination of leisure. You can drive there and have leisure in the lake and sleep by the beach and come back. So in Rubavu, same thing. Gisenyi, lots of hotels have come up. In Musanze, in Rwanda, lots of them have come up. So we've seen a steady increase in the hospitality industry. Now that's to do with hotels. Similarly, we have seen also an increase in restaurants. Not just seeing the increase in numbers, but we've also seen a positive change in the foods we eat. I mean, reflecting back, flashback about 10 years ago, 15, the kind of food you would expect to get in any hotel in Kigali is certainly a different story today.
With the recently improved doing business rankings for Rwanda, it's expected that the demand for hotel rooms will also rise. But the question is whether the hospitality industry is ready for this demand.
I know we got anything around 4,000 rooms. At least the level of 3-star, 2-star, 1-star level hotel, and the non-rated hotels. So these are there. And so there's at the moment, there is no shortage. In the immediate future to come, I see possibility of a shortage because the opening of the convention center is going to present new challenges and new demands to the market. So there might be a challenge. But at the moment, I don't see a shortage of room at that level, at the 3, 2, 1-star, and the non-rated level. At the upper in the upper levels, 4-star, 5-star, currently in Rwanda, I must say yes, we have a shortage. Believe me, if there's 2 heads of states or 3 for a function in Kigali today, choice number 1, of course, will be Serena Hotel. And how many delegates can it take? How many delegations can it host at a given time? If everybody said we want a 5-star, where do you put them? So we only have Serena and we have Mille Collines.
2013 was actually a good year for us in terms of bringing in some new brands, many of which are more of management companies but are very important for us because they put us on the map. It also helps in terms of positioning, distribution eventually when the hotels are operational. We have Park Inn, which is 4-star by the Radisson Group that is going to be managing a hotel that is going to open this year, normally by September. We expect by September. We also had Protea, which we know by last year was also acquired by the Marriott Group, and already in Kigali, and currently they signed some kind of technical agreement with a hotel in Rusizi called Kivu Marina Bay. They should be able to finalize that sometime this year. So those are, and of course Kempinski as well, that is has signed again some agreement, and probably is going to materialize more this year, and will take about a year before it manages fully the Mille Collines. So I think those were really good highlights for 2013 that we're going to see the results this year, because many of these hotels, apart from the Mille Collines, are actually under construction. Louvre Hotel is another one that I had forgotten that is going to be managing a hotel called La Palisse that is still being built as well in Mayanje. So in terms of 2014, the opportunities that we see where we're putting a lot of focus is on the resort by the Lake Kivu. Last year we finished an extensive detailed plan of what we call the Kivu Belt Sub-Master Plan, which basically links two of our major tourism spots, the volcanoes, and nearby in Rubavu and down south with Nyungwe National Park. So all by the lake, the government has already started building the road, and I think it's only 1 year or two to go. But in the meantime, we've also shown opportunities along the lake. So whether it is from sports activities, lake sports activities, to hotels by resort, basically developing it as a resort area, a golf course. So we have a detailed study for that. We'd like to have a golf course, for example, in Kibuye, 4 stars hotel, a 5-star hotel, boats and lake activities mainly that we'd also want to have.
2014 is said to be a deciding year for Rwanda's tourism industry. Rwandans are already gearing up for another Kuitizina, an event which is an annual ceremony where the country names newly born baby gorillas. This year, the event is already boosted by news of an unusual baby boom, 4 gorillas being born every month on average, as recorded by a conservationist group called Gorilla Doctors. That's it for this edition for Doing Business in Rwanda. Join us same time next month. You can share your views with us by simply following us on Twitter. Our handle is @DBIR360, or just log on to www.cnbcafrica.com. Until next month, I am David Keziomsoke, wishing you all the best.